Hey, hello! Sorry! We've been having so much difficulty right now, but hopefully a workaround has been found. I did not expect this. We're sorry. Almost half an hour late. We'll try to do it quickly, but hey, hopefully it works. So, welcome! Welcome to Drakenmemoria! Yay! We managed to stream something today. Oh, good lord. You don't know how much, how, you know.
We have had to give Terranad a very stern talking to that he's not allowed to hijack the stream
Yeah,
without permission.
when we become conscious again, he has to let go. There was a bit of a problem with that. You know. All
Hey,
right.
he said he wasn't able to do that.
Yeah. Something about the encoders and things like this.
But luckily, we hired a decoder to counteract his encoder.
Yeah, we just extracted it from Fisher's chest, and that's it. Everything started again. So Fisher's not going to be able to use Terranad today. That's the only drawback. All right. So, hopefully, workaround we came up with is going to hold until the end of the stream. If it doesn't, if things are a bit choppy, if well, I'm recording at the same time, so hopefully the VOD will be good or the YouTube one will be good. We'll see. We'll see. Can any of you at least check to see on Twitch if we can hear better, if we're hear good, if it's not completely choppy or anything like that? Just get a confirmation. Make sure that.
I would,
good
but my
to me.
internet's literally garbage, so.
Hey.
I mean, garbage can be tasty in a pinch.
Oh, if you're a rat, yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
would have done if I could.
I was gonna say
show
raccoon.
this message for the free
And
life.
check with ads. Curse you, ads. I mean, we love you, ads.
Well, thank you
We
for
have.
thank you for resubbing. It helps. It helps just a little bit. Always nice. All right. Okay. Let's get everything
Yep.
rolling. All right. So we have confirmation everything is working. I don't have Terranad. I don't have Terry or Organic stat black up, but
Yep, we're good on my end at least.
okay, good. Good confirmation. All right, so hopefully this becomes Dungeons and Dragons at one point. If you don't want to watch Dungeons and Dragons and a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons, well, I really don't know how you managed to get here because we're late because of technical problems and. But hey, maybe it's fate. Maybe
It's
you're
not
that.
420 yet, guys. It's this weekend.
Maybe it's fate. You know, you're that one person that's gonna decide that they're talking in the stream, and who knows, one of us five may become your best friend in the future just because you said hi. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So say hi.
And or lover.
I wouldn't mind, but you know, sort of skipping a few steps like this.
I mean, we're talking about outcomes, not immediate outcomes.
Yeah, no, yeah.
If I must become one of their lovers, I will. I'm sure Tiffany will understand.
Who knows? Maybe it's going to be an alien. You know, it's going to be able to be with both of you.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
let's at least hope it's not like a predator alien or a xenomorph.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Although
yeah,
that second mouth.
it just
Yeah.
reaches deeper, you know. Gives a new meaning to the idea of deep throating. All right, so If you want to watch all this become Dungeons and Dragon, and hopefully people not die and the stream keep living on, you're at the right place, because it's going to become Dungeons and Dragon, I promise. So, what happened last episode? Let's start out with this. The party. Let's start again. The party started to make its way to their destination, the lair of a green dragon. While their initial step in this quest were quiet, the stillness of those moments created an uneasy feeling in the in the head of our adventurers. Even autocorrect is autocorrecting me wrong. And when morning came, they decided to not push their luck and use precious magical resource to shorten their trip. Oh yeah, Jorg, they used your 6th level spell slot to fly all the way to the destination.
NBD.
That was mine.
Well, you weren't there. That's what happened.
Fair.
If you didn't want them to use that, you needed to be there.
Yep. Should have been there.
Alright, so flying over this first area of this challenge, they managed to see what they managed to avoid with this decision. I don't know, I feel like I'm going around in circle with what I'm saying. An arcane created creature. I really need to drink. I'm tripping over my own words too often in this.
If it makes you feel any better, Jorg, technically the spell is still active for an 8-hour duration, so...
Still have 7 hours.
In case you want to be a cloud boy again.
You know, and abandon your friends and run away because of things becoming too
fly
hard.
around.
I managed to avoid an arcane created creature, which was a bit disturbing to watch. With this challenge narrowly avoided, our heroes ended their flight in the entrance to the Green Dragon's domain. Alright. Oh, come on, stop it. Just keeps resizing. Alright, so with this, whose stat block do I need to take out? Is Fisher gonna take Terry out? Or are you gonna summon Arunak?
Given we're still traveling with Crazy Psychic Lady and we're about to go talk to a dragon,
Alright.
I'm gonna
I don't need
not take him out.
I'm going to slightly step out of the Green Dragon's domain, plant Ornak, and then...
That way we can make sure that he's not somehow influenced by Green Dragon. That's good, that's good.
It's the main point. I mean, I don't remember if they have a similar potential ability set like Black Dragons do, but I don't want to take that chance.
Black dragons, if I'm not mistaken, actually like swamps, and green dragons like deep black forests. So
what I mean more is that if I recall correctly, at least in 5e, black dragons do have some control over the greenery in their domain. So I don't know if green dragons have a similar ability, because I haven't paid too much attention to the green dragon stat block yet.
Alright, well...
Dragons have an impact in my campaign, so I have to look at all of them eventually.
Yeah, I know, I can understand that. Alright, so, let's see... What can Remy recall from...
The great big book of everything.
Yeah. Alright. So... No, we don't need the thunderstorm in the background. All right.
Step into the domain, immediately start storming.
I don't know. Are you sure we entered the domain of a dragon? Weather seems okay. Well, no, they're black dragon. Why do I want? No, I don't. I don't want to know about that. Hold on. Green dragons. Here we go. So, what does Remy recall? Green dragon's lair. So, grasping roots, vine erupt in 20 feet. Yeah, okay. They do have control over the vines and the grasping roots and things like this. They can summon walls of brush bristling with thorn. They can magically create fog. They tend to form labyrinth inside of the forest, magical one. Labyrinth passage, labyrinthine passage within 1 mile of the dragon lair, which is why I said dragon domain. Yeah, it's a bit difficult terrain. You can't track him while he's in his domain. And anything that flies, that crawls, that skitters on the ground can actually be the eyes and ears of the dragon.
Maybe even turn into a giant insect.
So yeah, that's about what Remy recalls. I don't know how he's going to convey that to everyone.
They're eating her. And then they're gonna eat me. Oh my god. No. Um. I think at the very least, because that's a fair amount of information. Although, oh, duh, he's still because we put up the various telepathic bond.
Okay, at least
We can
it
give them a
helps
mind
you
movie.
share feelings also. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like you get a feeling of wariness as you guys get images of bugs and other small critters. Like you get a sense of danger, like a feeling sense of fear and danger as you get images of bushes, hanging vines. You get an image of Jorg.
Oh shit. Sorry, George. Gotta go.
Followed by a few other images of druids we know. Basically indicating this guy can do a lot that a druid can, at least in this area.
All right.
Yeah, no, the feeling is kind of
Thanks for the heads up.
okay. It's sort of a yeah, green dragons. If it weren't for the fact that they're unavoidably evil, could make good druids. So basically, they're a master of the forest they live in. The forest itself becomes living, and it will steer you in the wrong direction. It will force you. It can even injure you. Or, as Annie said, right now, watching you.
Oh, actually, another Another cherished memory that Raimi can bring up in the Bond uh, is flashes of the dreaded forest maze from when they first met George.
Oh boy.
Oh, not that again.
Still the example of overthinking that I come up with when I'm thinking about overthinking.
It's like exiting the forest is super simple. All you have to do is follow these patterns.
And with Remy thinking about this forest comes the unavoidable moment where Remy was told, "Can't you fly away?" And that then you get previewed to a small image of Remy having built a mashed potato version of Jorg and just.
To be fair, that was the first time I'd met him.
To be fair, you said something like that only a few weeks ago. So.
To be fair, I didn't know better. Do you know better now?
So. Of course, you also know that green dragons, and this is partially something that audience would know and be able to share with the group. Green dragons are extremely aware that knowledge is power. And for them, the end always justifies the mean if it means gaining more knowledge and so more power. Audience, I'm letting you phrase that in a way that doesn't sound so evil, which is probably the way that it was phrased for you as you were going.
I think audience already kind of phrased like by last session when he was saying, "Oh, what the Green Dragon's probably doing here is basically like testing to gain as much knowledge of us before we actually encounter him."
One thing,
Like it would be called reconnaissance, audience.
Yeah.
One thing you'd know is if the dragon feels like you are dangerous. If you're inconsequential, he's just gonna roll in and murder you. If it feels like you're weaker than him, but not exactly a threat, it will play with you, then kill you. If it feels like you are a very dangerous threat or a very, very worrying unknown, it will take time to learn about you, test you, and then try and kill you.
And then when he starts losing, puss out like a bitch.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
So I will say as we go, I'll be like, try and limit, because I'm not sure how this is going to turn out yet. I'll turn to the party since after we step forward into this, I'll be like, try and, if we can, I don't know what challenges lie before us, but we should somewhat limit our abilities to show what we can do as he's trying to gain information about us. Don't show all your cards, or don't put all your cards on the table.
Put your Twitter away. That's like free information.
Okay. I've got a great poker face.
Yeah. I think that's the only face you have. Are you familiar with that song? You know, it's about one of the half-elf lady that dresses completely weird, you know, about poker face.
Well, what kind of really puts a damper on your poker face is now that your body is so chrome shiny that everybody will be able to see your cards being reflected off of your poker face.
You're just moving through that forest and we just see the light shining everywhere.
The only downside.
Well, at least you feel
Thought
clean.
about that.
All right, so
You'll never be a master poker player.
Well, no, because he's chromed. So every time he's gonna look down at his cards, you're gonna be able to see on his forehead what card he's looking at.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I said he'll never be a master poker player. He's been robbed. Robbed, I say.
So you enter this forest, and immediately I will ask for obvious and for not so obvious reason. What is going through everyone's mind right now?
Mm,
Fisher's thinking like a combo of this is practice against a green dragon, but also I really don't want to fight a dragon right now.
For some reason, Raimi is really hungry for mashed potatoes.
Okay.
For some reason, it will bring him great satisfaction.
that's fair.
Jorg, what's going through your
Um,
mind?
I don't know. Jorg wants a long rest if we're gonna get into a fight.
Well, you had a long rest.
Feeling
You
tired.
the only thing you don't have is your 6th level spell.
Oh. Yeah.
You're fine. You've got everything except your most powerful ability.
Yeah, against a dragon.
Yeah, we're just here to talk to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Which is what audience is thinking about. Audience is thinking about how to minimalize the challenge that we're going through, and also how he's gonna present the Silver Dragon's request without starting a fight with the Green Dragon. For him to stop being a little bitch and get over her.
I've heard that.
Just
Well,
how do I tell a Green Dragon he's been served breakup papers before he even
applied?
before
well, oddly enough, the point of view can easily be valid. It's true that he keeps stealing the presents that another dragon is sending her. Okay.
yeah.
Like, how do you tell a green dragon that he's being really needy?
Yeah. How do you so these weren't your toys. We gotta learn to play with our own stuff and to not take without
Okay. Now the real question is: audience really thinking about all of that? Or was it...
not in the joking way I just put it. Yes, in the way of he's thinking about how he's gonna do this potentially without forcing a head-on conflict with the Green Dragon.
Okay. I'm also asking for a bit deeper than just surface thoughts.
Surface thoughts.
Yeah, no, not just surface thoughts. So audience, I sort of have my reaction, my answer with this, because you're not just thinking about, all right, let's not reveal everything, but you've already told me something deeper. You're thinking about, okay, how do I tell the dragon to fuck off, essentially. And the feeling that goes with that. Jorg, you have your surface thought of, damn, I shouldn't have let everyone convince me to use that spell. That's a... maybe that's a
They're
mistake.
just so persuasive.
But also, what comes underneath that? There are many things. Right now, you are on a timeline. You're apparently doing a side quest. but a side quest that is valid, because everything that relates to all of your stories can be helpful in some degree to make sure that one challenge in your future will not be as hard. The only one that we haven't learned anything about is Remy, but we've learned enough that to know that he is involved in all of this because it is your greater enemy that is the cause of Remy's really harsh and heartbreaking childhood. So he is involved in some way. You don't know exactly everything, but you know that audience is involved, and settling the problems with his religion and with this dragon can aid you in attacking something, in attacking another problem. Same thing with Fisher. When you decide to attack the hunter cult, if you don't deal with Fisher's problem, you might have to face the hunter cult and a huge ship firing on you while you're doing this. So they are side quests, but they have their importance, but you're on a deadline. And then there's all of your personal problems, your own fear, your own doubts. So with everything of that bubbling inside of your head, your surface thoughts are about, am I prepared? What's just underneath that? Maybe the thoughts that you keep pushing down because you don't want something to read them, or just keep telling yourself, no, it's not the time to think about that. What's just beneath? Fisher, you're the next one I'm gonna ask that. So,
I would. So, what are we seeing the dragon for again?
As
And that's the thought that crosses his mind. Like, wait, why are we here again?
Yeah.
well, because audience made a gift to a dragon. He wants to have her favor for help in the future, and she gave you all that task of dealing with that because that dragon has been stealing gifts that another silver dragon has been sending her.
Yeah, this seems like a petty issue that we have to deal with right now. And I'm trying not to think about that because like dragons probably see things differently, but it seems like a pretty small prize for our current situation.
So your thought
Just
dwells
gift.
on possibly the futility of this quest, this bickering amongst giants. Okay. Fisher, what lies just beneath your surface thoughts?
I think they're his protectiveness of Terry, I think, is the big one.
All right, so you keep trying to push away any thoughts about Terry. Okay. Remy, beneath that hatred that burns deep for mashed potatoes and what it signifies.
Mashed potatoes and nothing else related to those mashed potatoes.
Well, you know, there are some times when the mashed potato sculpture does looks a little bit like Jorg, but no, we're not going to dwell on that.
Well, I was like, well, no, it's just like for some, like, you know, like there's like deep hatred for a mashed potato sculpture of Jorg. Like, and then he's reminded of how much Jorg just annoys him, and then he remembers that he's a druid, and then he remembers the most recent events of druid bullcrap.
So essentially, Remy is thinking about. So Jarg is thinking about the futility of dragon bickering, and Remy is thinking about the futility of Jorg. So interesting. Okay.
I mean, look, it's all connects, which is how his thought processes work. It literally goes from one thing to the next to the next.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay.
Look, I wasn't even thinking about the whole like mashed potatoes thing until you brought it up. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna roll with it.
That's all right. I don't mind. All right. So you start walking inside of there, and those thoughts are bubbling inside of you. For some odd reason, you're having more difficulty than usual to focus on what's happening in front of you. Not a lot. It just feels like you're just walking and walking and walking, and nothing's happening. You're just anticipating anything, but then you feel that emotional fatigue of always being alert, and then these thoughts keeps creeping in inside of you, bubbling up. I want each one of you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Gorp. Where's my
No,
dice?
thank you.
Borscht.
Hey, you get +3 from me now, though. Or +2.
Paladins.
That is a 20.
20.
Does a 13 that started from a net 1 count?
I mean, that's a pretty good bonus.
I got +9 plus your 3.
Yeah, I saw the 10 and I was like, how?
I couldn't find my dice because they're probably upstairs, and I didn't want to get them.
All
And
right.
now look, the universe is punishing me for being lazy.
All right, so 20. We got 13. Audience?
25.
25. Remy?
I'm gonna say only a 22, mostly because I just suspect the DC is high.
Also, if I fail, I can make it 24.
What was Annie's roll? Did she pass? No, I'm kidding.
42.
So,
That's always your answer.
It's the answer to everything.
all right. I'm going to have you make another one.
All of us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Should probably go upstairs now. Well,
That's worse.
18.
18.
Mhm.
26. I got better.
Okay.
10.
Okay. Remy?
19.
19. All right. So for Remy, it's roughly exactly the same. Jorg, it gets better.
Oh, yeah.
All right. As you're moving through this forest, looking around, always trying to be careful, Jorg, you can't help but to feel like Remy's looking at you funny, and not in a way that is normal for him to look at the audience, you know.
Look, cover yourself in shiny body oil and maybe we'll talk.
Oh. So that's how I win Remy's heart.
So yeah.
Simple man. Like shiny things.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at him and it feels like It's just from time to time. You just look around, he's not looking, and then you get this weird feeling, and you're looking at him, and he's looking at you, and you feel just a little bit of emotion inside of that stream that you have in your head because of the magic. And it's just a little bit weird. You don't know why. You feel like you want to eat mashed potatoes.
I try to
Why am I
cast
so
Hero's
hungry?
Feast, but I don't have a level 6 slot.
So don't have a expensive golden chalice.
Oh, yeah, I also need that.
Yeah, we should stock up on some of those.
Yeah.
Fisher,
Mm-hmm.
as you're walking about, you can feel eyes burrowing into you. Your fear for Terry grows stronger inside of your mind. It's been a while since you thought about this, but for some reason those thoughts are coming back up about how audience treated Terry in the past. It's all good and well. After that, he said he was sorry. He said he wouldn't do it, and he's held up until now this promise. But you're going against a dragon, a green dragon, something he reveres as a god. Can you really believe he's going to uphold this promise?
I want to.
Yeah. But for some reason, the thought just keeps gnawing at you. Will he? When the time comes. Remy, it's really weird. Jorg keeps looking at you. He looks at you suspiciously. There are times when you're sure that he didn't notice that you were actually paying attention because you got such a high passive perception and insight. You were feigning to look away, but he was looking at you. There's
Probably thinking he's a bird again.
maybe. Don't know why. Keeps looking at you as if you've seen that kind of stare before in the streets when you were very young. It's the stare of someone not trusting you. Audience, your friends are acting weird right now. Damn it.
Audience notices nothing.
All you notice is really there's a really odd silence. Usually people are talking more.
Odd.
But that's it. you're,
Oh well,
you're-
they're probably just prepping.
You rolled high enough that whispers aren't getting into your mind, but your friends are acting weird. Even though
Weird thought crosses audience mind. This is why you gotta train. No, I'm joking.
Every day.
No days
Train
off.
your middle.
I don't get with save proficiency until level 15.
All right. Audience, since he was at the front of the group, since I said would leave, honestly probably wouldn't do anything right now. I'd just keep going because I'd be like, okay, everything's fine. I don't notice anything yet. Like they're kind of quiet, probably just thinking about the trial ahead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah, unless Annie said something to me because she would probably notice the weird thoughts crossing their brain. But if she doesn't say anything to me, I'll be like,
Well, as you're moving, you do notice that she's not skipping as much as she did before. She is a bit vigilant about everything, but there's still that element of playfulness, that out of place playfulness about her. But
Out of placefulness.
either she is completely unaware of everything, but also when the telepathic bond started, for a brief moment you felt how focused she actually was at all time. It felt nearly supernatural how aware everything she was. So maybe she's, I don't know, doing something or not. You're not sure.
well, again, if no one says anything to me, Audience will just keep walking
Mm.
because he's just kind of like, okay, everything's fine so far.
I don't know if I'd say anything. I'm getting just weird feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You keep moving forward. The forest seems to be getting thicker and thicker. There's something ominous about the depth of the wood, and the path you're on seems to be the only safe place. At least this is how you feel. Maybe it's just a feeling. Maybe you could just try and sprint through the thickest part of the forest and nothing's gonna happen. After all, it's not a nightmarish shadowy beast that's tracking you. It's a dragon that can hijack any living thing, the senses of any living thing inside of these wood, to know exactly what's happening. Probably for you, Jorg, this is something that would worry you even more, because you know how sensitive the senses of a dog can be.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can hijack the senses of any creature inside of these woods,
You have like the best.
he can know exactly how you're feeling. He can deduce your emotions. Simply by the fact that you're walking slower, he can probably deduce with the senses of all the animals that you're worried. And if you're worried, this means you may not be that big of a threat.
Mm.
You would be walking with more confidence if you didn't feel like you were a prey.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Um. Maybe I will speak up about this. I don't like this. I feel like he's always watching us.
We are in his lair. He is always watching us.
Mhm.
Well, damn,
Yeah,
that
that's
helps.
kind of how these things work.
Yeah. True, but like more than watching us.
It's a dragon. Did you expect us to come in unnoticed?
No, but like I know what like watching is one thing. He's got more senses than we can even imagine.
I mean,
We're just here to chat with him.
Mhm.
So we got nothing to
also,
worry about.
it's not like we can really turn back now anyway. So,
Mhm.
we would not leave this domain without either his permission or without defeating him.
Yeah. I hope we're doing the right thing.
Well, to that, Annie will probably respond. She'll look at you and say, "Of course you're doing the right thing. One should never have to worry about others interfering into their affair. It's very important that Milady not be disturbed by such a problematic influence."
Mhm. I would be annoyed by that too.
Of course, everyone would be annoyed.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You're doing the right thing. After all, if what it's doing is normal, is legitimate, then there won't be any problem. But if he's doing this out of malice, and because he's not supposed to, then it needs to be resolved.
True. Let's just hope he doesn't just get mad just for us thinking he might be.
Oh,
Doing
he's a
something
green
wrong.
dragon. Of course he's already mad. You've stepped into his domain. Silly.
I'll say
Image of
this
a shadow
for
dragon.
I'll say this for a green dragon. He may be angry, but unlike potentially a red, he will not just flow into a blind rage and attack us on sight. That's not really their style.
Well, audience, you know that this is not entirely true. If he knows he can pulverize you, he will.
Yes, but it wouldn't
Trying to
be a
be
blind.
reassuring.
But it wouldn't be a blind rage.
Yeah.
He would do it because of a calculated
Yeah,
risk
okay,
that
yeah.
he took, not
It's a
because
very
of
visible rage.
yeah, not because of oh, I'm just super angry, so I'm going to attack you.
Yeah, but would he do it just because, oh, I'm super bored, so I'm going to attack you?
Audience, if he thinks
thought
he
that
can
was-
pulverize you that
Yeah.
easily, yeah.
Yeah, if he
Mhm.
thinks that that's the easiest way to resolve this problem, then there is the potential for that.
You
Mhm.
interrupted him in the middle of his Drakenmemoria marathon.
At this point, it would be a marathon.
It would have been a
That'd be
marathon
quite
2 years ago.
I don't know how many hours we have. Let's just do a quick. Let's times. You just have about
Episode
47
number times
days of
seven.
episode to watch nonstop.
Do it, coward.
It's a 47-day binge. Remember, every time you take a break, it's 15 minutes that's added. If you watched it on YouTube, I removed all the breaks.
Mm-hmm. No excuse. Just go do
But you
it.
see, he actually downloaded every stream.
Oh, well, then that's different. He has 15 minutes to go to the bathroom then, with every episode.
You could just keep it on while you go to the bathroom and just watch it on your phone.
Or do what I do and have, wireless headphones, so
Mm-hmm.
you never actually have to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So as you keep moving forward, I think it's a good place to make an investigation roll.
Oh, yeah. Well, this time, because my dice in this thing are betraying me, I'm going upstairs to get real ones.
Wait, so we're all rolling investigation rolls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Investigation
This is where
plus
audience
0.
fails. That's a 13.
Okay.
Or maybe George just casts guidance on
It happens at all at the same time. So it's sort of
Okay.
realization moment. So you can't cast it on one person, but not on all.
That will be a not 20 for 28.
Oh.
George got a 9 for 9.
Okay.
I only get a 25.
Okay. Well, in that case, Fisher and Remy would probably the one to notice.
Locked in.
Essentially, something really weird. The forest is reshaping itself. Because you've been suspecting this for a brief moment. When you turn a corner and you look behind and you saw the road behind you curving and disappearing, and then 5 minutes later you look back and it's curving but in the opposite direction. And then that moment right now where you have this realization where, oh, we've passed that before. It's the mushroom that Jorg stepped on and while he was thinking about all of that thing about dragons that he kept talking about 30 minutes ago.
We're going in circles.
I thought we were doing that before. I thought there was.
Well, you have confirmation now. Audience, you knew it by faith, but now you have empirical evidence.
Yeah. Well, as I said, if he doesn't want us to find him, we're probably not going to find him. Or I don't have a way to get us to find him.
Well, if he is always watching and spying on us, why don't you give a pitch as to why he should chat with us?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to waste more time running in circles.
Okay, fair enough. Let me think of a pitch. Why would a green dragon be interested in talking to us right now? No items or valuables we have would interest him because he would already consider them already his since we entered his realm.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
It's a cat that likes nature, you know. So
Uh-huh.
Um. Honestly, and I'll think this. I kind of look towards Annie. I'll be like, honestly, the only reason he would have any interest in meeting with us would be because of you, and because you're a powerful piece or hostage he could have in, you know, place of power over the Silver Dragon. I don't think there's anything specifically about us that would interest him. You, on the other hand, would interest him because you're a pawn, or not a pawn, but you're an actual powerful piece he could play or use against what he would consider an actual threat. I don't say this out loud because I don't know how internal the Green Dragon's power has. I know he probably can't read minds as well as Annie. But I'll think that and kind of look at Annie.
Well, she thinks back to you by saying, "Oh, so you would sacrifice me that easily?"
Not as sacrificed. I'm saying what would interest him and a gamble to actually reach him to resolve this matter. Your plan as a guide, I'm still thinking this. If your plan was a guide was to lead us to him, then this would be the easiest course of action to probably break this stalemate that we're currently in. Besides, we wouldn't actually be sacrificing you.
Raimi would project the feeling of disappointment through the bond, and then cuts to the image of everybody getting breathed on by the Shadow Dragon.
I'd like to help you, but Annie never saw that, and you didn't call Orunak for that.
Well, I thought that's something we decided to do.
We did call Ogonak. Ogonak is
Yeah.
here.
Zach definitely said.
Remy stepped outside the domain
Yeah.
and summoned Ogonak.
No. I mean, when the Shadow Dragon breathed on you during that event.
Oh.
Oh, right. Okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah, a connection, a feeling of disappointment surrounding that, then followed by being attacked by a dragon.
Mhm.
I'm also
Yeah,
not saying I never brought up the idea of sacrificing you. I just was like, the reason he would want to meet with us would be because of you more than us.
Well, if you think this is how we get through this, then
And he makes an X motion.
well, at least someone amongst you likes me.
Again, I'm not saying like what. I'm not sacrificing you. Like what? I'm simply saying the reason he would want to meet with us is because of you, not us. I was actually more thinking we go to teleport you out and then see if he won't let that happen, which would be the opposite of sacrificing.
Why? I don't think he cares enough. That'd be a waste of a teleport. Unless
we
Well,
all-
it would be
he's not gonna let
interesting. I'm
anybody
not saying
do
we would fall through it. It would be more interesting to see if he actually reacted to her potentially leaving. If he wants to keep everyone in his realm. One thing you don't remember about green dragons, they hate losing control. It's one of their weaknesses. I'm thinking of this. They absolutely hate losing control of any piece or thing that they think of that has entered their domain. By pretending to teleport her out, that's him losing control of that piece. That would not sit well with the green dragon.
I see.
Uh-huh.
But whether or not we're sacrificing her, we're still using her as like bait.
Not
You
by
know,
teleporting
It's
her
that also,
out.
I don't think that's not what audience said to begin with. Still isn't bait. It's
Yeah.
literally audience
It's
was
just
like, this is
using,
how the
like,
green
she's
dragon
already-
will think of her being here in general.
Yeah.
So like
True.
we're here to talk to it, are we not?
Yeah.
Like
I'm telling you this of my life of having been raised by a green dragon. I am telling you what will evoke a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you there's nothing we currently have on us in our possession that will evoke a reaction from him besides...
I don't see why we don't just tell it why we're here. Right.
You
Are
mean
we here to gain an audience with it and
yes,
try to
but we're
come to an
here.
arrangement about stuff?
Yeah, but green dragons don't do things straightforward like that. There's no advantage. What? Okay, I'll put this to you in this way, Fisher. Think about this from a trading perspective. By telling him why we're here to like ask or stop you about the gifts. What advantage does that give him in that situation by talking to us? If we just let him know. Everything, you have to think about this from the perspective of we have to present everything in a way that makes the green dragon think that it's gaining an advantage over us or over the situation to actually do it. We have to weaken ourselves to be allowed into its presence. Just by being straight up and telling it is not weakening ourselves in any way.
Being blunt with the truth is often seen as a mistake in negotiations. Because you're showing your hand, didn't you say?
Annie takes a moment and she stretches. Well, all of this talk is fine and all, but it's not getting us out of this problem. So, what are you intending to do?
I believe we're talking about it.
Yes, we're
Do you
talking
have any
about.
suggestions?
We're talking about thinking about something, but I think
We're talking about acting about something. So
Yes.
if you have a suggestion, please speak up. Otherwise, we're figuring it out.
Well, I'm thinking about moving
Did it-
forward.
Incidentally, have we been on? Because like you, unless I would misheard, are we actually like on a path? Question mark.
You were
Or
following
are we just
a
kind of like
path.
walk?
Well, when she gave you that decision initially, because she pointed out, and this is the element. This is one element that can probably look weird in Remy's mind when he thinks about it, because her attention pointed toward a path. Everyone started seeing it. And she said that one path would predominantly test you as individual, as persons, find your weakness. And when you said that might not be the best way, might be better to let him evaluate our strength, our powers, then she said, then this path would be better. And then you all started seeing a new path. One that was a bit darker, went deeper into the forest, but this one would test out your abilities instead of you as persons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Although to be fair, we could just be tested on how indecisive we are right now as a party.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's probably confusing to the green dragons as we're just stopped staring at each other. We're not actually saying anything.
Mhm.
Like
Hey,
Listen,
it can't know what we're doing if we don't know what we're doing.
Well,
Yeah.
Jorg would probably
That's
answer to that. He knows the feelings that you're all having right now, so
Mhm.
he would get the confusion.
Mhm.
but Raimi would repeat through the mental link uh, Annie's words, and then literally pointing down on the path that they are currently on, and then taps his head. Don't you remember, Raimi?
To be fair, we are on a path, audiences, to also test our abilities, so there could be an
Mhm.
ability that could get us out of this. I just don't necessarily think it's one of mine.
Mm,
Do you have any like pathfinding spells, Jorg? True pathfinding, anything like that?
I can smell for it, but yeah, I don't have much with uh that'll help us for tracking it.
The, I mean, honestly, I guess Raimi hates to be a broken record, but then again, his entire existence is a broken record. Um, but Raimi evokes the feeling of again being like in the previous forest maze, and then pointing to their eyes, pointing to their ears, and then pointing down on the path.
Yeah,
Just
we
looking for
investigate the path.
patterns. Sure.
Um,
All right, Rami, we gonna crack this?
Fisher, Terranad told you something
Hmm.
that you're not gonna like.
uh-oh.
Out loud, I just say no.
You all hear no echo in the woods.
Raimi tilts his head.
Don't worry about it.
Audience tries really, really, really hard not to think about the fact that Pterodad might have suggested using audience child to like see through illusion. Because that would be what would pop into his head. But I'll try not to think about that.
Mm.
Make an intelligence roll to push the thought away.
Because, okay, sure. I'm great at those.
Mm-hmm.
Acrobatics, insane to I'll just roll with -1. It doesn't matter what I roll. That's an 11.
You don't know why. Suddenly, inside of the link, you keep hearing watermelons, watermelons, watermelons.
Yeah, and with weird in between those, it's like in between the watermelons, you keep hearing, "Don't think about the child. Don't think about the child. Watermelons."
Just the vague concept of like a watermelon, but like swaddled like a baby.
Yeah, swaddled like a baby.
Swaddlemelon.
Then suddenly, for no reason at all, audience think about an apple with a worm inside, and he pushes it away.
He starts thinking about a pen and an apple and putting them together to make an apple pen.
Fisher is going to sit down and start ritual casting detect magic.
Okay.
Mm.
Fair enough.
Can Jorg try? I could try like a knowledge nature to see if I can track our way through it, but I feel like it's not a normal
Oh,
tracking situation.
There's going to be a DC, and
Okay.
we'll see.
Or it'd be survival or nature.
To find
Survival is
your
more tracking, right?
Yeah.
way in there would be survival. Yeah.
All right. I'll try that. Oh god, a 4 plus a 12. No, 8. 8
You know,
total.
I'll join you. And I have actually pretty good survival. Audience got a 21.
You see Jorg completely mystified by this wood. You know, it really is becoming apparent that the dragon has a really good hold over the area. It's completely baffling Jorg. For some reason,
For a
Remy,
good-
you sort of you would love it so much to be able to say something, but the only thing that comes to your mind while looking at Jorg is, why can't you fly? It's not what you want to say, but it's the only thing you can say.
Like, why can't you do the thing that we expect you to do?
Mm-hmm. I thought about flying, but I don't want to get like eaten by some monster bird or something that the dragon can control.
All right. Fisher, your detect magic, you sort of have that moment of, maybe it's a good idea, detect magic, and you finish it, and you have that brief moment of, oh god, that was a bad idea. Because, oh yeah, there's magic everywhere. Everything is magical. Everything is imprinted with the essence of a dragon. And for the first time, you have a better sense of, oh wow, that's what the essence of a dragon feels like? That's just the outer edge of his influence. It's like the radiating heat from a fire. You're not in the fire right now. But that shockwave hitting you, everything is interlaced with magical things. These vines are magical, these flowers are magical, this tree is magical. This bird looking at you, his eyes are radiating with magic. It looks like a sparrow, but when you look at it, it looks like his eyes are burning like suns.
Is there any
For the brief moment during
pattern
which you can see, it's like having squeezed food coloring inside of a turbulent water. You can see it swirl, goes in different direction, split apart, and then suddenly become completely homogeneous. And you're not sure if it's intentional. If it is, then you just have a clue that something is tuned in more than you'd like to, other than Annie, into your mind, because it knew to just slam the water to make it completely opaque. Or it really is because it's a never-ending, twisting maelstrom of energy and magic in here. And actually, the goal of this might be to avoid magic and try to find these little islands of peacefulness. But then you have what audience said. These islands of peacefulness may actually simply be where each challenge will be.
I mean, that's something.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is there any if I like try and slow down and actually parse the information overload that's being thrown at me, is there any kind of pattern to the magic and or its intensities that I can figure out or notice?
Make a perception roll. See how well you can see this moving.
Yeah. 13.
It would be hard, and you would have to cast this multiple times. Granted, with Remy, it would probably be a question of cycling between the two of you so that it takes a bit less time, but still. It would be hard, but you might be able to try and see where the dragon is trying to push you. Whether you want to go in that direction or not, that's entirely up to you. But by looking at the eddies of these magical currents, maybe you'd be able to deduce where he wants you to go.
Mm-hmm.
Audience, with your survival check, looking around and especially seeing that Fisher seems to be completely overloaded with information right now and has that processing look in his face. Dragons like this one like the life of nature. And so there's an element of counterintuitiveness in what you come up with, but it could be an answer. Go where there's the most life. Because that would be what the dragon has. His will is going toward. So you see a bunch of mushroom going in a direction. That may mean that his attention, that his will is tracing into that direction. Because you can see more the life of this. Because Green Dragon, well, according to what Remy, Jorg, and everyone else is saying in the group, Green Dragons may be evil, but they also have a deep respect for life, for nature. Not life, just nature. So where nature is the liveliest, so the lushest, may actually be the places where he likes the most being in there. Maybe the most dangerous places, or the places where there will be challenge because he would have stayed there for a while and so imprinted everything with his energy. But it is also a possibility.
Okay. I was going to say, all right, everyone follow me for a bit. I mean, you have been following me, but I'm going to...
Continue following.
Continue following me, but I am going to use my knowledge of both green dragons and what they enjoy, and we're going to try some things. All right. And I'm going to start following the route of most life.
Okay. Jorg, Fisher, and Remy, I'd have you do a wisdom saving throw.
Hey. That is a 24.
Come on. Give me something good. Oh, a 16 plus 9. That's a 25.
Plus my 3.
Plus your 3, 28.
Remy?
23.
Okay. I won't ask for a second one. Those were pretty good. All right. I mean, it sort of makes sense what audience says. there are a brief moment of intrusive thoughts going inside of your mind, but you manage to push them all away. Maybe a faint trace of doubt toward what audience might have said, but you easily managed to push it away. And even you, Fisher, you didn't have time to say anything, but it sort of concords with maybe what you're seeing. Now, the question is always, still remains, is this, do you really want to go exactly where the dragon wants you to go? Or would it be better to not go there? But that's a conversation that you should probably have with audience and not with me. So, but what audience says makes sense, and it concords with what you can see. For now, as long as his mind is able to hold out to that thought, it works. Because with what you can see, Fisher, the patterns, the energy flowing and moving, it can change at any moment. If audience, in mechanic term, loses save, if he gets distracted for some reason, he might pull you off course.
Sorry, he might what? I sneezed.
If audience gets distracted, which he is known for, he could pull you off course. But for now, it holds.
All right. I will telepathically to audience. So I think you're onto something. I can kind of also see it with how the magic is distributed. So I'm going to help, if I can, keep us on the course you set.
Okay. Sounds good.
Then Fisher casts Find the Path.
Yep.
Find the path.
Yeah, I know 6 level spells.
You know who does? Jorg!
I know 6 level spells.
Is Find the Path a druid spell?
I do
Yes.
have access to it. I just have never prepared it. Because
Yeah.
I've
it
also
seemed
never
weird.
been to the Green Dragon's lair, so it's useless.
Well, it would be a combat. It would be a sort of a strong arm contest. The power of the dragon against the power of Jorg. He could win, but it's a contested role essentially.
What you could do is you could find the path back to the edge of the forest where we started, and then we could know that we're going to the right. We could keep going deeper into the forest because we know where the start of the forest was. But we don't have it, so that's a different.
Yeah. Anyway.
I was
Not-
just
not
making
a point.
jokes.
Mhm.
So.
Anyway.
Anyway, following the audience and the trail of life.
All right.
Following the live stream.
If you're saying that, does that mean that Annie is supposed to be? Let's hope it doesn't finish the same way. So you keep moving forward, and I'm gonna ask it now. Do you want the break now? Usually the break is now.
It would
but-
be best to take it, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, hopefully everything is going to work fine, because I'm still not sure how everything ended up working fine with all the problems we had, but hey, right now it works.
if you hit something enough times, eventually it'll learn its lesson.
Or it'll break. One or the other. Well, that might actually be the lesson learned. If you break, you're not strong enough. That's just how it happens. All right. Here we go. All right. Gentle rain. Help us relax while we go on break, and we will be back in 15 minutes. Bye. And we're back. And it's still working. I don't know how, but it's still working.
With duct tape and dreams.
That's the answer. Duct tape. Duct tape fixes everything. and I'm almost not joking. The number of times that I have fixed something with duct tape in my job. Duct tape, duct tape and a knife. I think you got those two things, you can do almost anything.
Just don't confuse them.
Well, yeah, you got a wound. I'm gonna use the duct tape. Oh, that's the knife.
Don't worry, boss. I'll tie him up. Oh, got my hands.
All right. So let's go back in. Actually, do you want to have the sound of rain as you're walking through this? Just a little light drizzle?
It suddenly started raining.
Maybe too ominous. All right. So.
Only if it's actually raining. Otherwise, it messes with my immersion.
Oh, okay. I don't mind. So, what kind of rain? Do you want gentle rain? Smaller rain? Harsher rain? Torrential rain?
Ah!
I think it's this way. What? I said.
It's monsoon. Alright, so you've used ritual casting to figure out a path. You're using that to help audiences knowledge of Green Dragon, of how they influence the forest around them, how they enjoy their deep, slightly ominous but living maze. Keep moving forward for a while, and audience, you probably have with this your first confirmation that you might be going in the right direction, because the more you move forward, the more it feels like the light around you is changing color from the bright, well, semi-bright day, because apparently it's raining outside, no, but from daylight to a weird jade-like color. You know that as you get closer to the lair, the light itself is going to change, and it's going to start reflecting the nature of that dragon, so a greenish tint. So this feels like the right direction. You pause a few times. Fisher recasting, ritual casting, ritual casting, detect magic, or Remy, could cycle through too. Doesn't use any magic if you ritual cast. So, well, actually, that's kind of an interesting question. Do you cycle through both of you so that it's faster, or is it always just the same person?
I think if we could optimize it to be quicker by doing that, we would.
Yeah.
Plus, I feel like it's possible that Fisher and Raimi might notice different things as they're going through. So maybe that would also just give us more information along the
Okay.
way.
In that case, Remy, roll a perception.
28.
28. All right. Well, it's definitely higher than the Fisher. So you get a little bit more information. Although Fisher, you rolled pretty good on your perception. It wasn't 28. I think it was 24. No, it was 24 was something else. It was 19. Is that it? Am I mixing the rolls?
24 was the saving throw. I got the perception was like 13.
13. Oh, well, then definitely. Remy completely. You know, when it's you, Fisher, you have difficulty figuring it out. You see the path, you mix with audience, it helps, but you know, it's a arduous walk in the wood, and then suddenly Remy tries it and it becomes a walk in the wood, literally. So we have that cycle of, oh, it's a bit harder. Oh, it's become so much more simple. Okay, it's harder. Audience, it takes a moment, but you sort of eventually figure out that Remy is better at this than Fisher. So do you want to keep Fisher feeling like he's useful, or do you want to...
That's a way to put it.
I am useful.
No, Fisher can keep doing it. I'll just like get the extra information from Remy as well.
Okay. Maybe I should have said roll a saving throw before saying that. If he failed, he didn't know. Maybe you want to rely on the competence of Remy, and if you failed, it would have been let Fisher think he's useful. All right.
It's just like when you let a toddler help in the kitchen.
Hey,
Like, I'm helping.
I mean, Remy doesn't have to stop using it, so it's like even when Fisher's telling me what's going on, if he misses something, Remy.
That's the
Oh,
point.
it is the point.
And we're
You are.
swapping off to go faster.
I see. Okay, it's fine. We'll just get some information.
Yeah.
More information. We're still going the right way, so.
You think
as
so?
long as we're going the right way.
Yeah. So everything's following the trails of mushroom, the trails of flowers, and sometimes just a lusher vegetation on the trail. It snakes heavily. You get the feeling that it's intentional, more like occupying the space completely. I'd say probably Remy is the one that noticed it. As you're walking, vegetation is getting denser and denser. A bit more colorful also, but denser and denser and denser. You start noticing this smell that feels not exactly acidic, but definitely burns your nose hair a little bit.
Or maybe just acrid.
Yeah. Something like that. So now I'm wondering if you read the description of the green dragon lair, or if you actually thought of that word on your own.
Close.
It's no, I just have a vocabulary.
Well, I'm trying to describe it so that it comes to you naturally, but you know. So, smell is slightly weird. And although there is a sense that you could simply go off the path and go in a straight line, and you can certainly feel from time to time Jorg thinking about this. You know, you can see the road over there. Maybe you should just take a shortcut, go straight through there. But when it's your turn, you notice that it's sort of an illusion. Not the road, but going off road. You have the feeling that maybe on each side of that little narrow path that you're following, there's no more than 50 feet on each side. And then it feels thick. Even though you can actually see through it, it feels thick, as if you would start walking into brambles and thorns, and maybe the image you're seeing is not the exact truth. It may actually be further than that. So the environment is hostile, and there's a bit of illusion mixed in all of this. And you can actually recognize that the reason why you haven't had to make a saving throw is because you keep casting detect magic, and it keeps giving you the information that there is magic there. And so you're not caught off guard by this weird illusion that normally you'd have to really take time and focus and see, oh, no, there's something wrong with that.
I wonder if too, like even though it's not same person or same exact vibes, but I wonder if it's giving a similar vibe to their situation not even like like a few days ago when there was a whole illusory magic cast on the place where something was missing, where time was taken.
Well, it's definitely magical in nature, but it feels more like it's happening on purpose, meaning there's a will behind it. So probably closer to an illusion, but also responding to some desire, some will. Now the question is, do you talk about this out loud, or do you just keep it to yourself and just steer everyone away from walking too far off the path?
Hmm. I guess at the very least he would communicate that like don't believe your eyes, or they may deceive you. Because I feel like it at least communicates the idea of an illusion without actually.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the thing. What would audience think about this? Let's see. Was he paying attention to what was happening around him when he was training with his master? With his god? Go, audience, go ahead with a religion roll.
In general.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah. You feel like, Remy has a good eye, so it's probably a good advice. But as far as you know, Green Dragon can't influence nature this rapidly. It's a slow moving process, so maybe he's exaggerating a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. But I also trust Remy. So.
Yeah, that's why. That's why your thought would probably okay. Maybe he's overstating this.
I think I'd also take into account if he's what do we do if he's not overstating it?
Maybe the hunter cult's involved. I mean, I think they're involved with everything.
There's just the go-to in case it's like, well, this is weird. Probably the hunter cult's involved.
Yeah.
It's always them.
Mm-hmm.
That's I like what Georg just said. I like it so much that I'm going to make you all do a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, 12 plus
21.
9. 21 plus 3 for audience's thing, so 24.
Okay.
20.
Okay.
Only 18.
Okay. Audience, Remy, and Fisher, I'm gonna let you roll a second time.
$18.
Okay, Remy.
23.
Nope,
Audience.
that's my first bad one. 13. My first one under 20.
Okay.
Must be nice.
When Jorg says, the hunter cult might be involved, it sort of sends a ripple in through all of your mind. What if they're involved? Now that would be in their strategy book to create a situation where you'd feel hunted, observed.
Mm-hmm.
It is a valid point. And audience, with your element of, maybe there's something else. Oof! It's sort of like double slap. Maybe there's something else, and then Jorg says, Hunter Cult could be involved. That would be really bad.
Yeah.
Especially if they manage to convince it to work for them. Having a true hunter. Someone that's not afraid. Someone that's... Remy, at that point, while all this is going through your mind, because the second roll was high enough, you hear Annie's voice. At first it feels distant. And then it grows stronger and it just says, Remy, stay on track, please. Don't let your mind wander. Because she says that, you're the only one that feels like, oh, that's just silly what they're talking about. Of course it wouldn't. Green Dragon wouldn't want to share power with them. He completely manipulate them and crush them or something like this. But you're hearing everyone else, they just keep going like this, talking about, oh, damn, the hunter. Then you realize, oh, yeah. That may be what Annie's been doing all along. She's been keeping you sane.
Maybe briefly through the mind link starts doing like a trumpet thing. As loud as he possibly
Well,
can.
it's definitely annoying enough to end all of your chatter together and what? The thought is still strong in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
What if the hunter cult is involved? It's not going away, but you stop spiraling downward in this. Remy, if you want to say something, you certainly have everyone's attention. You feel like they are all holding back thoughts, but you have their attention for a brief moment.
Keep your eyes on the prize.
Remy's
Then
right.
evokes the image of the green dragon.
Yeah, Remy's right. We gotta focus on what we can control.
Mm-hmm.
It's
All right.
It's odd when you say this. You sort of feel everything becoming slightly lighter in your heart. And then you hear Annie's voice. Actually, Annie's gentle laugh. Not a strong laugh, just a little gentle, non-witchy cackling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think Fisher perceives it as witchy cackling.
Yep.
She's at it again. Fisher just like she's at it again.
You know, she's anime laughing. Right
Maybe
there.
one of the bizarre anime laughs, like
No, I've actually came across a YouTuber that has the most disturbing laugh I've ever heard. I have everything I need for weird laughs. So,
Bill, you haven't heard enough One Piece laughs.
you start walking again. A bit more at ease.
Okay, so gotta deal with the path with the thing at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Thorn path.
So, as you might have guessed, when I make you roll a second time, it's Annie's influence. She's the one trying to keep you all together.
Which also means we know the DC is over 20 because I rolled a 21 and still had to roll a second time. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess now that we've resolved, I guess we should keep sticking to what we were doing, which was.
Phew, your mind is getting foggy.
Which was we were still. Well, I think we were still just continuing the path to follow the path.
Yep.
Of greatest
Following the-
light.
We were
Alright.
Yep, following the light
effectively
stream.
trying to go where it wants us to go. But
Yeah, but I still think we're. It's still yes, but
You're moving forward. And it definitely qualifies as testing you. testing your abilities to stay focused, testing your abilities to see the path forward, testing your abilities to resist influences.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep moving forward then.
Yeah.
Keep moving forward.
Keep on
Audience,
trucking.
there's probably one thing that may be starting to trouble you right now. Because if you're on a path that is supposed to test your abilities, this means that he may be trying to ascertain how strong you are, how careful he needs to be. If you were right, and the reason why he's acting like this is because Annie is a powerful being, then because you keep just showing small abilities, small spells, simple resourcefulness, eventually he's gonna think that she's the only problematic element in your group. If you start thinking that, he might simply push forward and kill you all.
But
He'll
at the same
underestimate.
time, he also might underestimate us.
Possible. I don't know how confident audience is with that thought, knowing that it's against the avatar of a god that he's going against.
Yes, but audience also recognizes, because he was told this certain situation, he knows that he's not like at a point where he like doesn't think dragons can be killed, or at least this physical form of them can be killed. Like, he recognizes that they are not like the type of ethereal gods that cannot be killed. He understands that they are very powerful and strong and dangerous, and most likely you'll die if you fight them, but they're not unbeatable. They are like a just very strong creature that can't be killed.
Avatars.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also recognizes that this dragon might not even be as strong. Like, well, he doesn't know the power level, but he's like, probably not nearly as strong as obviously the actual like radiant dragon that we met. He doesn't know if it's similar in strength to the silver dragon or weaker, because he's felt that power, and he assumes, or at least he thinks in his head, probably weaker than his god. So, or his master.
Well,
so he's like, okay.
With what you know of dragon, you could probably push one of those deduction even further. If he's not openly attacking the silver dragon, it means they're roughly the same age.
Yeah. So, not unbeatable in his head. Not like, does he want to fight it? No. But does he also think, like, if this gets to a fight...
not unbeatable.
Yeah, not unbeatable.
But for us, though. Not
Yes.
just theoretically.
No. Even for us, not unbeatable.
Okay.
Yeah, because like, if it underestimates us, there's a potential that we
It's still
might have a
attacking us.
chance. Yeah, we want it to overestimate us and not fight us if
Yeah.
possible. So we need to show. Should we just? I could just use a wall of fire and just burn the forest down, but that kind of goes against my morals.
That's not... No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just write
Good.
in their notes about you. Bad druid.
All right, we'll keep moving.
Okay.
Might be sorcerer.
I've always
this
felt like there
my-
needed to be a druidic sorcerer. A druidic sorcerer type.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm changing into. If I can't live with nature, I'll just use it.
Yeah. Then you'll have druids hunting you.
Mm-hmm. George just turns into an oil tycoon.
Okay. So I have to send a fire druid against you? Alright. So you keep moving forward, and the woods are getting thicker and thicker. You can see less and less, and the air starting to have this acrid smell. Well, except for you, Fisher, because you don't breathe. What do you mean the air is weird?
Sense of smell.
Oh yeah, that's right. I only breathe when I need to. I don't.
I could try scrying the green dragon, but it's probably gonna have a huge wisdom saving throw.
I would not try and scry the green dragon inside the green dragon's lair. It's not
Yeah.
You don't know.
necessarily the best course of action.
You don't know. Could be
What's the
a
worst
bad
that could
day.
happen? Mm-hmm.
He's just been constantly bombarded by mental attacks all day.
Yeah, he just keeps hearing all your conversations, so he's completely exhausted.
Just got to keep prattling on about dumb shit.
Or even better, just hook him up to Terranad, let Terranad do all the work.
Here,
Or we could just
hear him.
we could start talking smack about dragons to get them angry and come and find us. Wait, but now that I've said that, it's not
But
gonna work.
we also don't want him to.
Yeah, that's true.
We're trying to come up with reasons for him to not want to kill us straight away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like bad mouthing your potential future boss just outside their office before the interview.
All of you make a wisdom saving throw.
Another one?
Yeah, you've been walking for a while. There's another.
Jeez. I only got a 3 plus 9.
All right. There's a reason
12.
why I keep letting you talk in these moments, because since something is listening to your mind, when you talk like this, sometimes you trigger a save.
Audience is back on the good rolls with a 27.
Okay.
20.
Wow. George got a 15 with audience's aura.
Are you supposed to have a good wisdom save, George?
You know what?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Roll better, dude.
I rolled a 3 on the die.
Fisher?
George's not being
24.
very smart today.
Remy?
I rolled a nat 20 for a 26.
Okay. Jorg, I will let you roll again.
Ooh, a 17 plus 9, which is 26. So 29 after Jorg, or audience's aura.
Okay. Well, you started with this element of, scrying, and this is, well, he might have it. Oh, that's a good idea. Fisher keeps saying how much Terry is powerful, and he has clairvoyance. He could probably see directly in the lair. That thought becomes so strong in your mind that you start wondering why Fisher is not taking Terry out. If he's so powerful, he could probably do something.
Don't think about it.
No, the thought is there. It keeps repeating in your
Oh,
mind.
No. It's... Uh-oh. I'm not going to say it. I do know that everyone's been trying to hide that. That what exists?
I know that
Nothing
everybody's
exists.
trying to hide. There's very obvious things.
Uh, uh, I don't want to say it. Am I being compelled to like say something about it?
Well, you did roll high on the second
The
one, so I'm waiting to hear what.
the thought is becoming intrusive. It's becoming overwhelming in your mind, and as you're trying to fight it, the doubt that maybe Fisher is holding back something for a bad reason, that he may be the one that's being influenced in some way, because otherwise, why would he hoard such a powerful tool?
Yeah.
But as you're thinking that, and because you're fighting this, and because you had a second roll, audience, Remy and Fisher, you can actually see what's happening from the outside. You see Annie going toward Jorg. Very gentle. It feels like she's nearly floating as she's walking toward him. She puts her hand on his shoulder and she starts talking. You hear her from the very start. Jorg, stay calm. Don't let those thoughts overwhelm you. But you notice in Jorg's eyes that he's not hearing that. For you, Jorg, your thoughts are just starting to wrap around this. They're spiraling out of control, and suddenly you hear that little voice coming from very far away. You hear that little Jorg, stay focused. Don't let your mind wander too much. Shh.
I'll
Don't let your mind spiral out of control. As you take that breath, you sort of realize that it was a silly thing that Fisher would be hoarding such a precious resource, if nothing else. And that is something you can understand, being a druid, being that close to nature. The worst you can give him is being overprotective. But, most good parents will die for their children if they need to. You sort of realize just how much you were about to say something you might regret. Not just because of Dragon, because of how Fisher might react.
I'm starting to worry. Nothing.
You can talk now, Jorg.
Cool, let's
The
go.
worst has passed. For now.
You think we're gonna make it?
Yeah, I have full confidence in us and our abilities.
I guess the fact that the mental onslaught is continuing means the dragon's afraid.
You
I
wouldn't
don't
go
think
that
afraid is the
far.
right word, but
Yeah.
Audience wouldn't
Maybe
go
not
that
that
far. At most, audience would say that he's still assessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let George
Like-
say that though. If we want to up the confidence, maybe the dragon will think we're more confident.
Remy will actually communicate. Actually, specifically in Tobayashi's voice. It's like,
Miss you.
Like I just clear your mind and let your thoughts disappear.
And then you have that moment where you're listening to Remy say this in Tobiashi's voice. Oh, that explains so many things.
But Ray actually is going to follow that advice, and for the rest of their travel on this path, wherever it takes them, he's going to try to keep a literal, like a free mind.
Okay.
Basically, try to empty his thoughts by emulating the meditative techniques he's seen Tobiyashi do.
Okay. You keep moving forward and forward and forward, following the trail of vegetation, the trail of abundance, literally the hole, digging through that thick forest. Feels like the light has been completely filtered and the sun is shining through an emerald. Everything has taken that greenish color everywhere, that filter, to the point where sometimes vegetation is a bit hard to figure out what it is, especially for you, Jor, because you're a druid, and sometimes some plants are actually poisonous, and you're supposed to notice it because they have these red dots on it, and everything's starting to look green right now. So there's that element of, wow, how do we notice what's what like this?
All right, don't eat anything, guys.
Oh man. Sure.
Yeah.
But I'm
don't
Fisher's
know.
already done so many mushrooms.
Everyone makes a wisdom
Okay,
saving
well-
throw. If you roll 1, you fail.
You start eating.
So
just
everyone
eat
looks at
whatever
Jorg at the same time. Like, really? You see Orunak reaching through his foliage. Does that count? But actually, there is one thing that do feels slightly strange as you're walking in this place. It's close enough to winter that trees aren't supposed to have leaves. Huh. Draconic influence. Damn. But that actually rubs you the wrong way. Truly, as a druid. Druids don't like it when the cycle of nature is broken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were just dealing with that in the old druid grove with the hot snow, and now these freaking trees were staying green.
Nature really is taking a beating in this.
Mm-hmm.
Dragons put chemicals in the water.
Oh, okay, so it's not actually the
Burn the
forest.
frogs.
It's just that you keep drinking the water on the floor.
I want to get taller.
Oh, but you're like
I need to catch
I'm
up to
pretty sure
audience.
the gnomes can just do that for you, you know.
I don't trust them.
That's
Not at all.
fair.
They'd make me 3 inches taller and just reduce my dex score by 5.
I was not.
Oh no, your precious dex score.
Hey,
But I was not expecting that
It's-
reference that you made from drinking the water inside of the forest. For those who have only seen Lord of the Ring and never read it, at the end, Mary, I think, ends the story a few inch taller than he was when he started, because he drank some water inside of the of Silverbeard Forest.
They show it in the movie.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't in the movie. Well, maybe an extended version.
Might be in the extended version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I may have seen the non-extended version like once,
Okay.
so I wouldn't really know if it.
Okay.
I want to see those
Those
movies
old
again. I haven't
movies.
seen them in a long time.
So, audience, make a survival roll. See how well you go through the next part of the of this.
Guidance.
I rolled a nat 20.
Damn.
Guidance, anyways.
Guidance gets over 25.
All right.
Sure, I'll roll a d4 on top of that
Thank you.
if you really want me to.
No, I don't care.
1.
I got a 4, so sure, that pushes it to a nat 20 with a 28.
All right. So
All the training, I guess, paid off in audience.
because of Fisher and Raimi, I was gonna say you can have advantage, but you can't roll better than natural 20. So
I actually can't
Roll
even
the-
roll better. I can't even roll better on the d4. That is my capped roll on that on that roll. That is best I could get.
All right.
You can roll
Wow.
a 21 on a d20.
That was the best audience could do.
So you have a moment of complete clarity, and you see this path. You know, you were sort of walking slightly off center, and then suddenly, oh, you go in the center of the path, and oh man, you just see this tube shape going wonderful. You know, you can actually almost see the shape of the dragon as it's moving through the forest going to its lair. And of course, that's why the whole thing has that shape. So you're moving forward and it's easy to move. And because of that, less time to chatter. And because of that, no stupid roll to make. Because someone has an idea that sends doubt in everyone's mind. But because of that, you're making good progress. You have that impression by the fact that everything around you feels like it's getting more and more stifling, and you're about to be strangled by nature and by vines and by everything around you. Then you arrive in a place where it feels calm. Quiet. You look around and vegetation looks suddenly even more lush than usual. Remy, as you're looking around, feeling a bit like there's something that's amiss, your passive investigation, which is higher than everyone else, picks up these weird, large buds on trees around you and on the floor.
Like at a particular color, or
With the color filter right now, they look green. Even taking that into consideration, you'd expect them that they'd be green, but you don't have an imagination, so you can't figure out which. Oh, not green, but they look green, longer than a normal bud would be. Maybe the size. Actually, you can probably. Zachary can probably imagine it better than Remy. The size of a football, but green. Roughly the same shape.
Okay, just like Raimi looking a bit curiously at that. Like, what? Well, that's weird.
Do you point it out to everyone else? Because you have 22 passive investigation. So you can see things the others can't.
Yeah, like Raimi does point it out, just like, because it's weird.
So it becomes much easier for everyone else. Everyone can roll investigation with advantage.
Advantage?
Yeah. Because he's pointing it out.
22.
I rolled a 6 and a 7. Oh, yeah, I get +0 for investigation. So
I rolled another nat 20.
So
you guys are just dunking on me.
Yeah, everyone notices it except the druid. Orunak notices
everything's fine.
it.
Yeah. What are you guys talking about?
Orunak notices it. Annie notices it. So everyone except Jorg is there. Where? I can't see it. Everyone else just looking around. There.
Audience is almost rolling 2 well there right now. It's like I think he feels the influence of his god in this area.
Yeah,
that's why I'm rolling all the nat 20s.
You are inspired by a presence of a brother god?
Distant cousin?
Well, because of how deity works in this world, it could definitely be. Because groups of god that has similar alignment are often finding themselves in the same shrine. So, hey, maybe you can draw upon the power of this green dragon the same way you are drawing upon the power of your god, audience. Who knows?
Well, at least in the state of Indiana, you can marry someone so long as they're your second cousin or further.
Oh, good lord. You know how weird that sounds when you're not from the United States.
It's weird when you're from the United States too.
Again, your second cousin. That means that, you only like share a great grandpa.
Yeah. So you're looking around and you're seeing all of those flower buds. They're size of football, roughly the same shape with a little bit more foliage at the extremity. Meaning that they can probably open up and there's something inside. They look radiant, not radiant, vibrant with life. Maybe there's something nice inside. Maybe there's not something nice inside. But it's the first sign of independent nature that you've seen up until now.
Yeah, I still don't know what you guys are talking about.
Right there, Jorg. Come on. Right there.
You see a mate. Well, you don't see. Like you feel an invisible force on the back of your head, just like veering your head in the direction of one of the buttons.
Oh.
And then you
Yeah,
don't
I
know
guess that
why,
is
but you
weird.
feel like you want to eat mashed potatoes. So what do you do though with those buds? Like I said, it's the first sign of independent nature that you've seen ever since you've entered here.
Well, I wouldn't do anything. I don't know what.
You can't talk to him, can you, George?
No. We could go pick one and see. Can I knowledge nature it and see if it's something I recognize?
Yeah.
Non-natural 20.
Hmm. I mean, it sort of looks like something you might have heard about before, but there's a very important element missing. The size is right, the color of the bud is right. If it's what you think it is, it's going to open up into either a purple or a yellow flower. But
Mm-hmm.
and those can be very dangerous. But it's usually taken care of by another entity, which usually isn't that far away. You would probably be able to. Whoa! What happened?
What?
Well, I lost the image for everyone in sequence, and then everything came back.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Skype blinked.
Oh, and my camera just okay. Yeah, sure. Ah. Well, we're gonna have to do with camera like this. Because when this happens, my camera goes to shit. Yay! All right. But there's one element missing. There usually is a caretaker of this. It's a shadowy form that's gonna move around, and so it's probably not that. If you can't find this,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm leaving it up to you. What story you tell?
I'll let them know that it looks like something that's usually maintained by another entity, but and they're dangerous, you say?
The flowers are dangerous. If it's
And
that.
the flowers are dangerous, so I'd be careful.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of power the dragon has over these, like if it's could be a trap.
You
All
say
right.
usually cared for by something else. Not in this case.
What makes the flowers dangerous?
What makes the flowers dangerous?
They're pretty aggressive. The purple one
Pretty.
will lash out at people. They have vines, thorny vines, and they will try to eat people. While the yellow ones can shoot barbed darts, which will poison and slowly anesthetize someone, making it easier for the other one to eat them. But these flowers are normally taken care of by a humanoid-like entity that if you look around, you should be able to see it. If it's not there, then most likely it's either not that or it hasn't been kept, meaning they might not react if you try and poke them.
Okay.
So I'll let
So what I'm
you.
hearing is we should keep going because this area is probably dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
It could also be a spot where we could prove ourselves.
Yeah. You know what? First, this is the first one of yours. I'm gonna use the divine sense when we're in here. See if I can get anything about the flowers.
It's difficult to figure out what's emanating what, but you definitely have a feeling of evil, but it blankets everything.
But I'm wondering if it's specific. I was actually more wondering if it was like less in this specific spot we're in because we're in like a quiet area than it would outside.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like if it's like I'm more checking. Yeah.
Okay, in that sense. In that case,
Because it's the first.
yes, the feeling would be lesser here.
Okay. I'll state that I think the dragon has less influence over this area than the rest of the forest. So we're also probably more free. I mean, still be careful, but it might not be able to like read our thoughts as easily in this area or keep track of us as easily in this area.
That's good to know.
Fisher, do you want to say something? You know, we don't actually have Rory's telepathic bond.
Wait, what? Oh, shit, my bad, guys. I was thinking of something, but it didn't go anywhere, so.
Wait.
Algonac looks at all of you for a brief moment. So, do you still
I
want
want
me
to
try
talk to
and
the
talk
plants,
to nature?
but Jorg doesn't know how.
Yeah. Why don't you talk to the nature or not?
Well, if we
I guess you could, yeah, probably.
spend the
Can you?
night here,
What time? I don't think we need to spend the night.
Well, you've probably been walking for
I need a long rest to read.
4 or 5
I like it.
hours. It would be a very early night because you zipped around the mountain for an hour. You've been walking for, you're not sure because all reference of time has disappeared. But you'd guess that you've been walking around for between 4 to 5 hours. So it would be an early night in, but I mean, possible.
Ornek, can you talk to the
Yeah, let's
plants?
start by talking to the plants and figuring out what's going on here.
Jorg said he wasn't able to, but
I can't talk to plants unless I take a long rest and redo my spells.
He looks at Ogonak looks at all of you and looks at Jorg for a brief moment. When it's not your native language. Alright. Well, it's gonna take a little bit of time. You know how slow nature is to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And he just spreads his branch.
Meanwhile, Raimi is just going to go ahead and re-up Rary's telepathic bond, but include Oranak this time.
Good idea.
So, takes about 10 minutes because it's sort of a ritual casting type of speak with plants. That's actually normal language of nature. So it takes some time. 10 minutes, another 10 minutes because he's asking more than one thing. Then eventually his eyes open and look at all of you for a brief moment. All 5 of his eyes. And he's... 5 or 3? I think it's 5. I think it's 2 on A. That's 7. He looks at you for a brief moment with his hands still up in the air, going, that was a mistake.
Oh, are they threatening you? Us?
No, they just said, is that food? Oh, we're hungry.
And you said no, correct?
I did not answer because I think they can't see us as long as we don't move.
Ah.
So
God.
we're stuck here. How long can you stay up without moving?
Forever.
Or we can just stealth.
I have passed without a trace. Without trace. I can sneak through.
You'd have to try.
Alright, I'll cast it.
I will. Ornak, how do they sense movement?
They just
They don't look like they
do.
All right.
It's like plants. They can feel
Vibrations.
So it's going invisible.
Yeah, they can feel hormonal release. They can feel pressure
So it's
difference in the air.
Yeah, so it'd be more a stealth roll than any specific thing we did. We'll just have to get good stealth rolls.
You think that, and immediately you see Onak looking toward Fisher. Yeah.
Or
That's gonna be
is
fun.
Fisher? Would they think of Fisher as edible?
I have organic matter.
Yes, but I'm asking Oradak. Would they think of Fisher as like something they'd actually be interested in eating?
I think it's something they think it's gonna be hard to digest, but doable.
Okay, so we can't all get into my space and then have Fisher carry us out of this area.
No. And even that, I mean, yeah.
They'd still like try to eat him, probably, whether or not they thought it was edible.
Okay, well, let's try. Yeah, I guess let's try pass without a trace then. See if we can sneak by them.
All right. How? I cast it.
Remind me again. Pass without a trace.
Each creature I choose.
That's not the information I'm looking for. I think Remy knows
Okay.
exactly what information I'm looking for.
Yeah, so it depends on whether these creatures are able to see us through magical or non-magical means. If they have a tremor sense, then we can probably sneak by them. But if they have a magical means of observing our location, it might not work.
They're a plant. They can feel things through the leaves, through things like this. So as you're moving, they're going to feel the change in air pressure. As you talk, they're going to hear the sound wave. They're going to feel the sound wave. And as you're starting to get afraid, they're going to perceive the hormonal change in your bodies.
That's why, yes,
Also
that's what
called
stealth's
blindside.
supposed to. That's also what the stealth's supposed to cover for. That's why you set a DC for them. You just include those factors,
Oh yeah, I know.
and then it's a DC.
The only problem is that Pass Without a Trace has a voice component.
That's inconvenient.
Yeah, but if you cast it and then they can't find us after you cast it, it'll
Yeah.
be fine.
But it's a risk.
Although,
Yep.
sorry, I'm just thinking. Although, wait, was it specifically that we can't move at all, or we just simply can't move from our location?
We've been moving in this location.
The thing is that communicating with they were asleep.
I think Ornak tripped
Yeah.
effectively there, woke them up more.
So anything that would have interacted with them would have woken them up. So if you'd had gone and poked them, they would have woken up. If you had cast a magic directly on them, they would have waken up. And talking to them certainly woke them up. So right now, because you're not...
Does Ornak have a persuasion roll? Could he persuade them that we're all non-edible?
If they had an intelligence higher than an actual plant, he might. They're really plants. This is why, audience, you felt like the place wasn't as evil, because plants are unaligned.
Are unaligned. Okay.
They have the intelligence of a plant, meaning at the best 3, probably 1.
Which does mean they can be charmed, potentially.
Depending
What?
on which mean you're using, they don't have
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah, that is true. Which, okay, never mind. I can't cast like a fog and then charm the whole fog.
Actually,
Yeah.
Raimi actually does have a solution. It
How
just
many are
sucks
there?
that I have to use my solution.
Okay.
How many are there?
Orunak can sense 3 crowns. Crowns meaning there's 1 purple one at the center and 3 yellow ones around it. He has heard the response of 3 crowns, but he knows there are more lone flowers on the ground. He doesn't know
So
how many
3
more.
like big ones, and then
So
possibly more.
essentially 12. He can confirm 12 flowers.
Yeah.
And he knows there are more, but the others, since they're not in a crown formation, he doesn't know where they are.
I also could, because if you don't want to use your solution, I also could short form, like to a place I can see, but just outside this ring, I could short form teleport us, which would also get us out with the helm. because there's like very little risk of us misfiring or going off if I like teleport us to a place I can see. It would just be like I just teleport us forward like out of this specific ring without us moving.
How long has it been since we, since Jorg originally cast Windwalk?
Approximately 6 hours. So there is 1 hour. There are about an hour and a half left.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying we just turn
You
into
just
clouds
sit
and
here
just zip
and
out of it?
Turn into a cloud.
And just move really fast forward? I mean, that would be about the same as teleporting.
Yeah. But
it would be using a resource we've already used.
But it would be using a resource we've already used. That'd probably be better. Is that better or worse than your solution, Remy?
A resourceless solution is better than one that uses something I have very little of.
That's fair enough. All right, let's just do that then.
Yeah.
All right.
This dragon's gonna be really confused. Like, they could just turn to mist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, we're not edible as mist, so.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hopefully.
So, where's the spell? Where's the spell?
Hey, you see, Jorg, we are still getting use out of your 6th level spell.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
It's what's the name of the spell already?
Windwalk.
Okay, wind. That's why I wasn't finding it. Windwalk.
The Legend of Zelda.
Okay. When creature you can see within range, assume the gaseous form appearing as wisp of cloud. While in this score, a creature has flying speed and has resistance to damage from non-magical weapon. The only action a creature can take in this form are a dash and reverting takes 1 minute, during which time a creature is incapacitated and can't move until the spell, and the creature can revert to cloud form, which also requires 1 minute to transform. That's what I wanted to know.
So let's just all be really still and quiet while we transform into clouds.
All right. Well, it is a way of getting out of something. So, Jorg, you start focusing. You start focusing on everyone becoming a cloud again. You have Owenak that just goes, "Oh, not again." And
Sorry, bud.
he tries to reach into his foliage without drawing attention, which he succeeds. Because it's just a slight hand of movement. He goes inside his foliage and he just waits for your signal, Jorg, because he's gonna break the branch and disappear and throw himself to Remy before you all leave. Because he wasn't part of the first casting, so he's not gonna turn into Cloud.
Yeah.
All right. When it's almost a minute, I'll nod at him
All right.
so that we have time to grab the nut.
He breaks it and in the same movement throws it at Remy. Remy, dexterity save. Just don't roll one.
But it's not a 1.
Okay.
Yay!
You catch it and you all turn into clouds. And as you're preparing to zip out, you see all of the flowers opening and you are hit by a hail of darts. Fortunately, they're all attack of opportunities as you're trying to move away. So, let's see how that turns out. The yellow flowers are attacking. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's go with. We got 5 people.
Wait.
Yes.
So they're attacking. So would it be technically initiative? Because if we go first in the initiative,
It's an
we
attack
can
of
move far
opportunity
enough.
because you're moving away.
Oh, because we're moving out of their space. Okay, I see.
So.
But what if we take disengage as an action and then move?
I don't know if we can as a cloud.
Well,
We're
no,
at
that's
range,
right. As a
so
cloud, you
what-
can only dash.
You can only dash. You can't take disengage. Okay.
Yeah, but we do have resistance
To non-magical weapon.
non-magical damage.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Which is most damage from a creature in the game. Like it,
Yeah.
it literally has to say in the description it's magical, which is actually pretty rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, even what's inside of the dart, if there's poison, it's not necessarily magical poison. Alright, so let's go with a bunch of D10 because there's 5 of you zipping out. Do I have another D10? Yes, I have another D10. Oh, I have 2 more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6 technically, including Annie. Right? Where am I?
6?
But one of them at least attacks an inanimate trunk.
Okay.
Oh no! Wait, no, we don't have Toby anymore. It's 5 now. Okay. Yeah, it's 5.
No, because Ogonak is not moving. Alright, is it 1, 2, 3?
We should have had Oganak draw fire. Okay.
Do I have a 10th?
But then, how do we get his nut back?
Well, he just
Well, he
threw
tosses us his nut and then
And
runs
then
around
he's
like a
not-
headless chicken.
No, that's not how it works.
Please, guys, let's
So
talk more about
we
Orac's
gotta
nut.
throw him while he takes his nut off, and then take his nut,
While he
and then
takes his nut
his
off.
corpse just gets shot at.
It's such a weird way of saying it.
What's important is that we have a firm grasp on Ornak's nut.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's the important part.
Of course.
Alright, so that's not for hitting or damage, that's just to know who's gonna be fired on. Alright. So we go clockwise like this. So 1. So that's Jorg. That's Jorg. Okay, that's for Jorg. 1, 2,
Wow.
3, 4. It's gonna be Fisher. 3. That's Fisher. That's Fisher. That's Fisher. That's Fisher.
Okay, so Jorg and Fisher are getting peppered is what I'm hearing, and the rest of them. They decided
Okay.
Jorg and Fisher look tasty.
That's what I'm for.
5 and 6. That's Remy. Remy. That's Remy. 7 and 8. That's audience. Audience.
Man, when did
And-
Fisher get so thick?
9 and 10. All right. So it's going like this. All right. Jorg, 3 darts are going
All right.
your way.
3 darts.
Yeah. And you're in cloud form right now. So,
What are the clouds ACs? I don't even know.
I believe it's still your
it's still yours.
same.
Oh, just your
Oh,
AC.
Yep,
Okay.
it's still
Yeah,
our AC.
Yeah. So 18,
Does not hit.
25,
Does hit.
and 21.
Does hit.
All right, so we got 2 hits. All right, so that's ouch. It's gonna. Oh, I have. That's all of my dice. Okay. All right, so the damage from the thorn. It is a large barb that hits
Ow.
kind of hard, but since you are in cloud form, you do have resistance to the damage.
Nice.
Meaning it's going to be why can't I 12 13 divided by 2, so that's 7 damage for the thorn itself, and then 15, which means 8 points of acid damage added to that. That's for 1 thorn. Constitution saving throw. I'll give you advantage because you're a cloud.
Constitution 16 and 11 on the die. So that's for. Is that for?
That's for the poison
So with
inside
advantage?
of it.
Oh, okay. That is 21. Also, I got to do a
Total of
Okay,
21.
and I
That's
succeed.
okay. You're not poisoned by the first one. Da, 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 da.
Also got to go to bed soon.
Yeah, I'm rolling. Well, if you're escaping this, if none of you gets completely immobilized by this, you've just avoided a really bad fight, and we're going to end this right after all of these rolls.
Yeah, good thing I didn't lose concentration. That would have been awkward.
It's not concentration.
No, it's not a concentration.
Oh, right.
Yep, it's just a duration spell.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
All right, the second barb cause 7, so 4 points of piercing damage, and 14, so 7 points of acid damage. Constitution save, advantage.
7, 19. Yay! So I got a 20.
All right, so
24.
you do not suffer the adverse effect of the poison, which is bad. All right. So, next one, Fisher. You're the one that gets hit the most. Yeah, I know that that's not a hit. So, what's wrong? 22, 23, 23. 31. Damn. That's you, Fisher.
No, my the 22 misses.
Okay, so 3 hits.
Yep.
Ow.
So I can't use any reactions because I'm a cloud, right?
Yeah.
Yep, no actions, and reactions are actions.
Yep.
Okay, so 11, so 6 points of damage from the needle itself, and 18, so 9 points of acid. Constitution with advantage.
Uh, 30.
30, you do you shrug off that poison. Second barb, 3 points from the barb itself, so 2 points of damage, and from the acid inside of it, 19, so 10 points of acid damage. Remy, only 2 barbs. Go your way.
By being attacked by 2 barbarians.
Ah,
No Barbaras.
I was waiting for someone to say something like this. So, 27 and 18.
The 18 misses, the 27 hits.
Okay. So 10 physical, so 5 physical. Oh, good lord. It's a good thing you have resistance because I rolled maximum damage for the acid inside of the barb. 30 points, meaning 15 points of acid damage. Audience, 2 barb going your way. And 25 and 31. You're muted.
Both of them hit.
Okay, 5 points of damage from the needle itself, so 3 points of damage, that means, and the damage.
My 2 saves are 23 and 25.
Okay. And you succeed on both.
Okay, so what was the damage? Sorry, it was
3 for the needle itself, and 22 acid, so 11 acid damage. And the second one is... Oh, that one hit something nasty. So 16, so 8 points of physical damage, piercing damage for the needle itself, and 15, so 8 points of acid for the second one.
Okay.
And finally, few barbs go Annie's way. I have her AC here. That's... No, Annie, here she is. 4 go her way. Damn. Three of them feels like they were gonna hit her, but they just bounced off as if it hit armor plating, and none of them hit. And you just managed to zip out of a very arduous and potentially very bad combat, because if any of you had missed your constitution saves, the poison would have given you 1 point of fatigue every time you missed it. So you could have been in an extremely bad shape at the end of this fight.
yeah, no good.
Yay! I mean, no!
all right.
All right. You zip.
Well, the dragon's sad. We're not as weak as he probably wanted us to be.
Oh, well, if you want to have the same little ending moment as the last episode when the dragon said something, probably what would have been said by the dragon after this would be, so they have access to those magic. Interesting.
He knows we can cast, or one of us can at least cast up to level 6 spells.
Or that we can all turn into mist.
Or we have the natural ability to all turn into mist, but he probably doesn't think that. He probably knows the spell.
I'm just saying he doesn't have enough evidence.
Mm-hmm.
He also doesn't
Jumping
know
to
who
conclusions.
cast it. For all he knows, it was Anne that cast it.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. He doesn't know who cast it.
He just knows that at least one of you has 6th level spells. Alright. Oh, actually, that dragon has learned quite a few things today. Alright. Congratulations. Another very hard fight. Mostly avoided. You all had to suffer only one round of missile barrage. So for your information, there were 6 other flowers hidden all around the battlefield. And each one of them, meaning a grand total of 15 flowers, pelting you with these little darts.
Yeah. Just question, since we're not going to do the fight. What was the HP of the flowers? Was this like a one-shot versus bead one-shot fight, or was it like an extended?
No, the purple flowers. You had 3 of them. Each one had 110 hit points, and the yellow flowers. Each one had 55 hit points. The elements that Jorg did not realize about the purple flowers was that they have vine tentacles, and they grab you and they pull you inside. They're essentially a carnivorous plant. So when they take you inside of their stomach, you get grounded up by teeth, by acid, and by barbs for as long as you're stuck inside of the stomach.
Let's go back. Sounds like a fun fight. All right.
All right, well, with this, it ends today's episode. Hopefully, I will figure out what was the problem with OBS, and next time we will be able to start on time. Or at the very least, do exactly the same thing that I did this time and start on time. But I'd like to understand why it didn't work as usual. Alright, so with this, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being patient with all the problems we had at the start of the stream. Hope to see you again next week for the continuation of this. Audience would probably be able to say that he's confident that you're more than halfway through the region. The lair still hasn't been touched, but the region itself, you're probably halfway through, or a little bit more. So maybe 1 or 2 other tests at most. What was I saying? Oh yeah, thank you. See you next week. If you want to support, that would be very appreciated. Bless you. You can follow us, leave leave comments. We got Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. It's very much appreciated on all of those. If you even just following, honestly, it helps. If you want to do more, you can make donations, become a Patreon, subscribing on Twitch. All of those things are below the window. As for if you want to do more, or if you can't do any of those and you still want to do something, well, simply spreading the word of the channel. It helps tremendously. So, hope to see you again next week, next Wednesday for the live campaign, Friday for the rebroadcast. Don't worry, the rebroadcasts will have started at a normal time because it's in hindsight and I'll be able to edit the problem out. And if you want to do some world building with me on Thursdays, tomorrow from today, well, like I said, that's going to be on Thursdays. So that's it. That's everything. Thank you for being here. See you next week. And as always, stay safe and stay healthy. Good night.
Good night.